Hello and welcome to another one of my films. Today I'm just outside the historical city of Peterborough. I'm in a little village called Stanground, and what I'm trying to do is, it's quite hard this nowadays, but just to sort of give you a perspective on the cathedral from afar that's quite hard to find nowadays. So we must be about 2 or 3 miles away, but you can just see how imposing that building is. So I'm really looking forward to going and visiting. So let's go and head into the city. This is what I do enjoy about Peterborough. There's so many accessible paths for cyclists and walkers. It's brilliant. Just leaving the expressway behind, just going down to be beside the River Nene. So this is Town Bridge, first commissioned by monks in 1307. This is now the third bridge, but leads us into the city of Peterborough. So, Peterborough Cathedral. There were Roman ruins here, possibly a temple, but in 655 a monastery was founded by Mercian royalty. At the time, Mercia was a pagan Saxon kingdom, but Christian missionaries came down from Northumbria and founded a monastery. In 870 though, this was destroyed by Vikings, and again in 1070 it was destroyed by Danes. Now, William the Conqueror turned up in 1071 and he built a Motte and Bailey castle. But the cathedral that we see in front of us today really started in 1118 after the fire of 1116. Now, notable people to come through here, Henry II and Thomas Becket. There is actually a Becket chapel, I hear, dedicated to him after he became a saint. And also King John with Magna Carta. He left an association with that document, which is called the Black Book of Peterborough. Now, it opened properly in 1238, and this basically fundamentally is the building that we see in front of us. In 1532, King Henry VIII split from Rome, and he created a bishop in 1541, which meant this building actually became a cathedral. Now, a couple of interesting people have been buried here around that time. There was Catherine of Aragon, Henry VIII's first wife, and also Mary, Queen of Scots. In 1643, Oliver Cromwell came through and again, unfortunately, sacked the church. Peterborough was regarded as a royalist town. But by the end of the 1800s, a major refurbishment was going on with the cathedral. But unfortunately, it was hit twice in World War II. And then there was a very significant fire in the southern transcript in 2001. But I've never been in, so I'm really looking forward to showing you around. Whew, that was a lot of remembering. Absolutely massive. you can certainly see how it took 120 years. It's astonishing. They've got fantastic information all around the church, giving you a real sense of the history. Now, even though my family has a history of faith, I've always felt a bit uncomfortable coming into churches. I can never explain it, but this feels, well, I understand they use it much more as a community hub. So it brings a lot of different people in, which I think is fantastic. It's just absolutely stunning. I bet the organ sounds absolutely wonderful in here. Absolutely breathtaking, isn't it? And just look at the detail on the roof. Different colour as well. Wow. Right, I was looking for this. This is called the header stone. It is basically part of the original monastery that was first set up here. So according to the literature just on the wall, this is the dedication to St. Peter, and it turns out Peterborough was trying to promote itself as a place of pilgrimage over and above Rome. Right, this is actually the resting place of the very first Bishop of Peterborough, John Chambers. There's history and stories just everywhere here. Right, so this is where Mary Queen of Scots was interred for about 25 years here in Peterborough. It was James I who actually removed her, and then she was reburied in Westminster Abbey next to her cousins. Now, the King of Northumbria, Oswald, became known as St. Oswald because in life he was very pious and very generous. And I think the relevance of bringing his arm here as a religious relic was that arm gave out these gifts, etc. So there is a small chapel dedicated to St. Oswald. Here we are, where Catherine of Aragon rests. Now, here even today they still do dedications to her, and as you can see, it's a really well looked after place of rest. Wonderful. All I can say about this cathedral is it's an incredibly warm place. We've got to be practical as well, but yeah, there's loos. Not quite finished, there is just one bit of business to attend to outside. This one last thing is to do with Thomas Becket. Now, in the 12th century, an abbot came to Peterborough from Canterbury, and what he did was bring holy relics of Thomas Becket. The relics he brought included the surplice which Becket was wearing when he was murdered, that was still covered in blood. It's basically a top garment, that, and the flagstone that he fell upon, which still had blood on it. So the Becket Chapel became a place of pilgrimage for several hundred years until the Reformation, when the relics sadly disappeared. Well, thank you very much for coming with me on an amazing visit to Peterborough Cathedral. It's just magnificent, and if you are in the area, it's just a wonderful place.